At Your Instep is brought to you by Comic Town and BCW Supplies. Hello, and welcome to At Your Instep. My name is Morgan, and I'm here with Dave.
Oh, hi.
And Mike.
Hello.
We have another fun-filled episode for you folks this week. If you're here in the States or, I don't know, Canada, I don't know how they do Thanksgiving or if they do or not. Is it just a sole U.S. thing?
Yeah, sure.
I
Pretty
think so.
certain it's just a U.S. thing.
I don't know.
Some people, I understand that it should be.
I think the Canadian pilgrims were
I hate
called
you.
Vikings.
Some people, I hate you. Sometimes it's just like they just take it too. You know, I don't know. All right, if you're in the States, it's Thanksgiving week. And if other places celebrate Thanksgiving that I don't know about or something similar, then maybe it's another holiday for you folks. I don't know.
So it says
I'm uncultured.
other countries that celebrate Thanksgiving include Germany. They celebrate Harvest Thanksgiving Festival in early October.
Okay. Well, that doesn't count.
Grenada, they celebrate Thanksgiving Day on October 25th. Korea, they celebrate Korean Thanksgiving Day in late September.
No.
Japan. Do you want to keep going?
Anyone that correlates with us other than us?
This I have to click on the link now because. Canada Thanksgiving's held on the second Monday in October. Everyone's already had Thanksgiving already.
Weird. Why are we?
Yeah, United States late to the party.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for us and seemingly only us.
Ooh, do you want to take the first Thanksgiving quiz though?
No.
We can make that. Okay, let's take the test together. Come on, listeners. We're going on a journey.
I hate you.
The Pilgrims traveled from England to America in 1620. What was the name of the ship that took them to America?
No.
Was it the Santa Maria?
No.
The Mayflower?
Oh, we're not
the
doing
Sunflower?
this? Why are we doing
or
this?
the Virginia?
Dave, you gotta help me. Stop this madness.
So what are we doing today, Morgan?
That is correct. It was the Mayflower.
I hate you. Okay. It's Thanksgiving week
now
for
that,
us.
now
in the
that you've
States.
gotten your second grade education,
So we will, of course, kind of review things we are thankful for in the magic community. The magic community here at the
magic.
here at the end of the show. But before that, we have a couple community topics to talk about, and then also talk about the competitive things that happened over the weekend. There's a lot of standard, and I guess a lot of everything, really, when you break it down.
A little bit of a potpourri.
Potpourri a bit.
cornucopia, if you will.
You know what? That's good. That's good. That's just good.
That's nice.
That's what we call synergy.
That was an amazing joke. Amazing word for corn.
Yeah,
No,
gotcha.
I get it. No, that's great. All right. So community. Let's get talking about. See, it's kind of a crime because the whole spoiler for Unstable comes out tomorrow. So there might be some funny things that we missed, which is unfortunate. But we have some funny things that are out already that we can talk about.
So we said there are not a lot of tournaments for next week. Maybe
no.
Unstable Palooza,
Palooza?
but we've got to do it like from the perspective of it actually being constructed. We could do this.
I want you to know that sounds miserable.
Or amazing.
No.
Give it a chance.
Your misery.
Go to jail.
That is.
I think we should let the listeners
That's a
decide.
good card, please. I really do not want to talk about unstable cards in any sort of
just wanna
context
make
other
us-
than the great jokes that they
Well,
are.
we do a spreadsheet for every Palooza of the cards we're going to talk about. I can just imagine the spreadsheet that we would have for the unstable cards. So.
Please don't make me do
Sounds
this.
great.
Anyway,
Oh, Mike, you got to talk about Croc's other thumb. That's a special one for
That-
you.
So
That is true.
yeah, let's look at that card. So those who don't know, when I sold them out of Magic originally, the only thing I kept were a couple of random decks, and one of them was my filthy casual Fiery Gambit Krark's Thumb deck, which I then turned into an EDH deck that people wouldn't play against because it flipped a lot of coins and took a lot of turns. I don't know. But suffice to say, I have a lot of foil Krark Thumbs. They're kind of my thing, and now they're giving me Krark's other thumb because that poor guy is apparently a real bad gambling addict.
yeah, he's got. It's pretty irredeemable.
Yeah, it says they took his thumb and he would say double or nothing. Oh no! But this one doesn't help with coins. It helps with dice.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Not a whole lot of dice rolling in traditional Blackboard or Magic.
But I might need a foil one.
Yeah, I mean,
just for myself.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, we have our first unstable planeswalker. It's none other than Urza himself. Just his head, because he's the headmaster. And we don't know what he does. let's be perfectly honest. He will do things, but all the things that he does are attached to a website.
You need to go to askurza.com.
No. You need to head to askurza.com.
Yes.
This is important. So if you don't know in the story, pretty much the last thing that happened to Urza before the whole end of the apocalypse. So you had the invasions. Magic before Mirrodin was all about Urza and the Phyrexian invasion. Gerard Capuchin cut Urza's head off, and they thought he was dead, but he wasn't. He was just quote unquote less powerful. Then they took his eyes out because his eyes were the Meek Stone and the I can't remember the two stones, and the nose went into Karn's chest, and he became the legacy weapon. Yeah, the Magic storyline was a lot worse once upon a time.
Yeah,
it was cool, but yeah. So the last time we saw Urza, he was literally just a head, and now he's still just a head.
Headmaster, but he's Wooburg as far as casting is concerned, and he comes in with 4 loyalty, and you can +1, and then you can go see what he does at askurza.com, or you can -1 and go see what he does, or you can -6 and go see what he does. Now, assumedly, once they have the website up, you'll be able to click on a link, and assumedly it's a random thing.
I feel like it's random,
does.
and that's great. That's really great.
So it's cool. It's cool to have like a weird, funny, planeswalker. I imagine that like foils of these will probably be fairly desirable. It is Therese Nielsen art, so fan favorite.
We were looking at the art without the actual like card, just like the actual art itself. It's real fun.
It's real good. You look at the full art. There's a lot of like jokes within the art itself.
There's a book on sibling rivalry in the back, which is the best. Oh, it's so good.
But we also got Infinity Elemental today, which is it's just a 7 mana like big dumb idiot, and you might say, well, how big? How does infinite
has infinity power?
Infinite power.
Infinite power. It's an infinity 5. So if you hit anyone with this, regardless of their life total, they dead. pretty solidly, even if they have infinity life. Guess what? Hard counter now.
It's so infinite that its flavor text says it's so infinite that a flavor text says it's so infinite, and that's literally what the flavor text says. Until it turns off.
Fun fact: if you click on the spoiler for Mythic Spoiler, and just enjoy yourself. Just see how far it goes. It's like something like 22,000 lines of it. I don't know. It's a lot.
That's
needless to say. But that was the vanilla mythic that we've heard a lot about, basically from Maro's blog and stuff like that. But anything else that anyone wants to bring up? I mean, there's obviously a lot of really funny cards that we've
Can we talk
seen.
about X for a second?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that card. You can like
try to understand what it does.
Yeah, just have an aneurysm trying to figure it out.
They were trying to figure out how to make like the one guild or whatever is their spies.
Yes.
So X is the leader, correct, of this group of spies?
No, he's just a legendary creature. He's not the leader
because it's the what's her name?
Phoebe's
that's the leader.
leader.
A sneak. That's right. That's what it is. So X is it's Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find one Mythic Spoil real quick. Is it blue-black as a cost?
Yeah, blue-black for a 2/2.
2/2. As long as you can cast it from your hand or your opponent's hand. And that's a really weird thing to say, but it has an ability when it's on the battlefield where you can pay blue and a black and tap it, and you put it in target opponent's hand, and then that opponent plays with their hand revealed. And then it has another ability which can be activated while it's in your opponent's hand for a blue and a black and 3 that says you may put another card from your opponent's hand into play, or is it put into play?
Just you may play a card.
You may play a card without paying its casting cost. So this is literally the ultimate spy. It gets into your opponent's hand
and steals their spells, kinda, sorta, basically.
This card is incredibly messed up. Like, it is so difficult to understand. There's a few cards like that in this one. I saw there's a blue card they just pointed out. I don't remember what the name of it was, but essentially it says that all graveyards are also your graveyard.
Yeah.
That is
graveyard busybody.
Yes, and like there's the card that like every card in a graveyard is also on the battlefield and is a creature, but then all graveyards are your graveyards, and I don't know. I do not know.
That's a combo.
My brain cannot figure out whose creatures those are.
I don't know.
I know you like the Masterful Ninja.
I love Masterful Ninja. Masterful Ninja is amazing to me, just for the sheer fact that the joke is so good. Because Masterful Ninja, it's 2 and a black for a 1/1. It has haste, like that's whatever. But the art is just, it looks like a land art. It looks like
It's like a vault or something.
yeah. There's no creature in it.
They've said that there is one in this.
Okay, so it is a very masterfully hidden.
I tried to
creature.
look. My only guess was that I think there's feet under one of the curtains.
Yeah,
But
who knows?
But supposedly there is a creature in this art.
That's fine. And honestly, I'd want to look at the full art.
Yes.
To really be able to analyze it to find the creature. But you can reveal it from your hand, and then Masterful Ninja is on the battlefield and in your hand until end of turn. And then it has shade pumping, so you can pay 1 to black to give it +1/+1. But I saw that, I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want for my ninja.
Did you say the creature type?
Oh yeah, it's a troll ninja.
While you're looking at it, the card next to it is I lost my mind over when I saw it, and I just got to mention entirely normal armchair. So entirely normal armchair doesn't have a casting cost. It just says during your turn, if entirely normal armchair is in your hand, you can hide it on the battlefield. Then 0, you can return it to your owner's hand. Only opponents may activate this ability, so if they see your armchair and notice it, then you can return it to your hand. But if you pay 2, you can sacrifice entirely normal armchair, destroy target attacking creature. So like the goal here is to like play it underneath a creature or to like do something really crazy with it. But it's just like it's so awesome. If you look at the art, it looks like there's a bear trap in this chair. But I just love the idea that's like furniture, like you're trying to sneak. Like, when did that table get into the room? No, the table's been there the whole time. I don't know.
Hold on, what are you talking about?
No, like what? Like there's so much of this set I really love. I just need you to know. I love it so much.
So one of my favorites was one that they spoiled today. It's Squirrel Dealer. It's a green for a 1/1. It's a raccoon lizard bird. When it enters the battlefield, ask a person outside of the game, do you like squirrels? And then if he or she does, you get a 1/1 squirrel token.
Yeah, it's value. Who doesn't like squirrels, really?
I love the art. I love the flavor text that says, see the sheen on that fur? The glint in their eyes? Top quality. These are the real deal. And for some reason, when I read this, I thought of when you ask somebody if they like squirrels, it's like the voice of Korg from Thor. It's like, hey man, you like squirrels? I don't know. I don't know.
Like squirrels.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just I chuckled to myself when I thought of that.
I also want to mention really epic punch.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this, it's a fight card. It's a green and a color star creature you control gets +2/+2 if it's a host or has augment, which I guess we should mention.
Yeah.
But then it fights star creature you don't control. But the key here is the art is a bear punching a dragon. So if you don't remember, we had 2 cards in the cons block.
It was the Savage Punch and
and
Epic
then,
Confrontation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Epic Confrontation was him fighting. That was him punching a dragon.
Yeah.
Right. And then Savage Punch was him punching a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bear punching the dragon is just like bravo, well done. Do you want to mention host or augment real quick at least?
Yeah, so they're going to be these cards basically within the set that you can open that are one card is a host, so it is a creature that's fairly basic that has a sort of an ability that triggers, I forget like how the host has a trigger on it that happens.
Yeah, so the host you can play on its own, and it has an ability.
Yeah.
And then the other half, you don't play it. Like you have to.
No, you have to play it on top of the other one.
Right.
And
Right.
there's a point where the arts connect, and you get like ninja ponies or
Or like half human, half shark, or something like
multi-headed
that.
kittens.
Yeah.
Or monkey man.
I enjoy Monkey Man.
I like
That's
half
very
squirrel,
fun.
half bot. It's good.
Yeah. But basically, you get to sort of build your own weird amalgamation. And there's a whole bunch of these hosts and augmentations that you can kind of pair. I forget how many they're actually.
It's an absurd amount.
Yeah, you can build like over 200 different types of creatures, basically. But yeah, just you can kind of build your own Genji because you can make a ninja bot.
So I gotta mention the ninja. because Genji got me.
Yeah.
The ninja definitely says you can augment as for an instant. So the reminder text for augment tells you it's a sorcery, but on that card it says augment only. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, there's just some of that little stuff in there that kind of slips in and it's hilarious. There's 2 cards that directly reference like high fives, which is awesome. So give me 5. It says you may gain 1 life for each person who high fives you in the next 30 seconds, and they politely ask you don't hit people, ask for a high five. And I mean, with that, you kind of have to set a ground rule. Like, what if you do a 2-hit high five? Is that 2? Like,
Yeah, does it count as 2?
I think it would. And then my favorite is just for the name because it reminds me of like, it reminds me of it that which was taken. It's like an old like Kamigawa like way of naming things. It's it that gets left hanging. Which is a 6-mana 5/4 in red, and it's when this enters the battlefield. Ask a person for a high five. If he or she won't, this creature gets haste until the turn.
Give me some skin.
So if you if you don't give him a high five, like suddenly this creature's better.
It gets angry. Why did you leave me hanging? Come on, tell me it wouldn't be fun to do a full set review of this and discuss like the competitive dynamics of trying to get a high five.
No, I don't want another set review.
Fine.
Can you imagine spending like 4 hours on talking about unstable cards?
I can't think of a way more. If you know what, if you are personally interested in Mike's unstable set review, reach out to him.
I couldn't think of a bigger waste of time.
I'll give him a recorder, and I'll tell him to go wild.
When you say a recorder, do you mean like do 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 do?
Another one that I really enjoy is Clock Napper. You get to steal someone's like step and use it as your own.
It feels like a lot of these cards, it's like when they first made Magic and the ground rules weren't really set, and they kind of had some wacky off the wall stuff, like Chaos Orb and things like that, where it's like a lot of that design space is kind of like opened up here. It's like, yeah, we can just do whatever. We'll figure it out.
Mario was also implied that like some of the stuff is actively trying out things that are close to real mechanics. And there's a burn spell that's incredibly cool. I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
It's got trample.
It has trample. The burn spell has trample. So like whatever damage it deals over over what kills the creature.
Super death ray.
Yeah, that's it. Goes to the player, and like that's really cool. But at the same time, like man, that feels really close to a real mechanic. You know what I mean? So sort of interesting.
Or switching like a Mario kill.
Yeah.
With her kill bots. I think like that's something that they could potentially. It's very powerful. I feel like
it's super powerful.
But
play the shell game.
But it's something that I think it could be theoretically explored in Black Border Magic.
Yeah. I want to mention one more card.
Okay.
Because I said it, so I should say it again. As go to jail. That's what I mentioned. Go to jail is like an Oblivion Ring variant where you pay a mana and enters the battlefield, exile another target creature until it leaves the battlefield. However, it has this rider. At the beginning of the upkeep of the exiled card's owner, that player rolls 2 6-sided dice. If he or she rolls doubles, sacrifice go to jail. Now, I do not know if you can also pay them 50 Monopoly bucks to also get out of jail. Probably not.
It's probably it's not on the card, but
I just love that. That's a sweet reference. So
and I love how go to jail is all in capitals too.
Oh yeah, no, it's you go to jail directly to
choice. But obviously, like there are just a ton of hilarious things that exist within the set, and I really feel like they, without like necessarily having the whole spoiler, but I really feel like they did a good job with Unstable. I think that there's a lot of funny stuff that is here, and you get like. We still don't know a lot of stuff. Like we don't know like a lot of the contraptions. We don't know any of the Agents of Sneak contraptions, which is interesting, or the Order of Widget. So we get to see like what those do, and like they just like I think they were pretty successful so far with everything that they have tried to do. So
yeah,
hats off to Wizards. Also, there's a goblin that gives all your creatures with hats menace, which is hilarious. But. Yeah, I mean that's all I really want to talk about as far as Unstable is concerned. So
fair enough.
So oddly enough, in the middle of all these Unstable previews, we got some Rivals of Ixalan spoilers, which is like
that was,
why
a bit of an oopsie.
So between unstable spoilers and iconic masters being released last week,
got some early Ravels of Ixalan spoilers, and we only got 2, and they were released by a Brazilian outlet. And
we got Storm the Vault too.
Oh yeah, we did get Storm the Vault. Storm the Vault was from PAX Unplugged, so we can talk about that one first. So whoever wants to read it, go for it.
All right, so this is a real card. This isn't an unstable card. So Storm the Vault is 2 blue-red. It's a legendary enchantment. It says whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a colorless treasure token. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, you transform it. Transform it into a legendary land, Vault of Catlacan. It taps to add 1 mana of any color. And also taps to add a blue for each artifact you control.
Oh, weird.
Huh. So obviously it's a kind of a throwback to Tolarian Academy. So we have the Gaia's Cradle. We don't have the Serra's Sanctum yet, so maybe we'll see that one in the
I hope not.
That one doesn't seem particularly good.
No, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Man, what are some other cool ones we could get? Can we get Volrath Stronghold? That's too much.
You could do like maybe a port, like a Rashad port.
Oh man, I doubt it. They don't like that one.
They don't
So
like that
if you had to work for Rashad and Port,
Yeah,
maybe
that's still,
it'd be okay.
So I think it's nice to know that we do have flip cards confirmed then for Rivals.
Yeah.
Continuing the cycle. So I do
Yeah,
wonder if they're
man.
all going to be gold.
I would imagine.
That makes sense.
So it would have been awesome if we could have got. See, this is the thing that like irrationally upsets me about Wizards. What is the name of this card?
The Storm of the Vault.
So what are we going to be having releasing soon?
From the Vault.
What could they?
Oh no!
They could have just previewed this card for From the Vault.
No, this is confirming what the next From the Vault is. It's From the Vault Storm.
Oh, they're gonna say from the vault vaults. Time vault confirmed.
I think that would have been really cool.
No, I wish they would have gone back to including a new card in it. And I don't know.
Especially, I guess it's just like it's because it's a vault, and like I think that is nifty. But whatever.
Do you want to mention the DuckTales reference?
Oh yeah, the flavor text. Yeah, it's pretty
It says,
good.
swimming in coins proved harder than they'd hoped, but dancing was a jingling delight. So,
Yes, because you would die if you tried to jump in a pile of coins.
wait, you mean it doesn't like ripple like water and like allow you in? No, that's
no,
not.
You cannot move through
Everyone
it.
here has seen scientifically accurate DuckTales. All right, so
That wasn't about swimming in gold so much as it was about.
no, we understand what the rest of it was about, but there was definitely a scene of a duck diving off
Sure.
into gold and breaking its neck. So there you go.
We already covered this in like episode 35 or something. So
Fair enough.
I don't know which one it was, but
What do we want to talk about next? Do we want
Let's
to
talk
talk?
about Tedzimok,
the elder.
All right.
Death Primordial.
Ooh, that sounds pretty menacing.
I mean, he didn't have menace. Death touch actually, but not
Yeah.
menace. And it is a legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur. So
So we get that cycle of Elder Dinosaurs.
we seem to be getting some dinosaur, some old fogies.
I say
as it
cycle
were.
because I was worried the dinosaurs would only be in those colors, but a black one confirms there's probably going to be one in each
more than
color.
likely,
Yeah.
because obviously black wasn't a primary color for dinosaurs
Right.
in Ixalan. So if you're going to have a black one, then it makes sense to have a blue one as well. I hope it's like a seafaring dinosaur. I think what a plesiosaur.
Plesiosaur?
Oh,
Yeah.
please,
Nessie?
please,
Nessie?
Anyway, so it's a 6 mana black and 4 generic for a 6/6, so 6 mana 6/6. All right, got Death Touch. That's an upside. It has an ability that says pay a black and reveal this card from your hand. Put a prey counter on target creature. Only activate this ability during your turn. And says when this creature enters the battlefield, destroy all creatures with prey counters on them. So yeah, that's pretty nifty. You can kind of build your own Deathwind
Yeah, I like the
or Plague Wind.
the sort of like weird, like excuses for random reference, but hand banana esque like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like tonight, you. Just like point at the creature and then like okay, like thanks, buddy.
Just be like soon.
Oh man, I should say something like it hungers, right? Like
But yeah, definitely a pretty interesting card. I think this one is more playable than the giant guy that we already had.
Definitely, you
Galta.
essentially trying to set up a one-sided Wrath is pretty interesting, and then you also have this weird like the first time you put a counter on a creature, your opponent has to then decide. Like, okay, are we racing now? Am I going to race this creature? Can I counter it? Like, what? Because it's there. Like, it's coming.
Seems pretty unbeatable and limited, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's an interesting ability for sure. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be constructed playable.
Can I ask
cool
once
card.
again why? Because I asked this about Ronus when I saw it. Why does a 6/6 need Death Touch?
Listen, man.
They wanted to give him something.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like,
He's got a lot of spikes on his back.
I understand that like black doesn't get like trample very often, but I don't understand the point of death. I just don't get it. I don't understand the point of Death Touch on a 6/6.
So would it have been more flavorful if it like when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature with a prey counter on it?
Yeah,
then
that-
the Death
that
Touch kills
actually
it.
would've made a lot
That would have
more
been
sense.
sweet.
Yeah,
And it makes
absolutely.
sense. It has like spines on it, so
Yeah.
it's just like shooting them like pew pew pew.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually how that works, but
Maybe we could just get given it Skulk.
perfect. that would have been great. And then we have a we have like I don't know the
Mirari.
yeah the big one like the thing that
The
kind of
MacGuffin.
yeah we have the Mortal Sun, or I do prefer the
Old Soul.
yeah I do prefer the Brazilian version,
Immortal.
which is Oso Immortal, and it is a 6-mana legendary artifact, and it says players can't activate loyalty abilities on planeswalkers. Oh dang, your planeswalkers don't do nothing. And then it says at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, and then spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and all your creatures get +1/+1. This is
Just
all
a little bit everything.
just all upside as long as you don't have any planeswalkers in your deck. And who needs those?
It's a little strange that it affects your planeswalkers as well. Like a lot of these cards that like give you a bunch of benefit, it's typically, your opponent's planeswalkers can't be activated or something.
Yeah.
They haven't printed a lot of cards like this with like a kind of universal, I guess, upside or downside. But I mean, yeah, sweet card.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that like every time they print an artifact like this, like a 6-man artifact that does a bunch of things, especially if it says draw extra cards, like even looking here at the Mythic spoiler, it suggests Staff of Nin, which definitely saw play, and Cage Sun, which also saw play. So I don't know where this card goes, but it's the kind of card that people like, and it does enough very powerful things that it's probably going to see play. It's pretty
And it's like, we just had like an artifact block, so there's a lot of good things that synergize with it.
How many 6-mana legendary artifacts are there now just hanging out?
Don't worry about it.
Because Paradox Engine was 5, and then we have Gonti's Aether Heart. It was also 6, and just whatever, just pile them up. Just put them all in Odin's treasure room.
But there's some interesting things. Like you do have like refurbish, so if you find a way to like you can get it in as early as like turn 4. I don't know if that does anything.
I mean, I think you just played turn 4 with just like mana acceleration.
Yeah, that's true as well. So it's interesting. I'm kind of disappointed because there's a lot of like, what if the Mortal Sun is actually the Mirari? Like that would have been kind of cool to see, but oh well.
It can't have been, right? Wasn't Memnarch the Mirari? That was the whole point.
I don't know, man.
Like he literally,
I don't know. You would know, yes.
the Mirari was personified and became Memnarch and went crazy. I'm fairly certain that's what.
Yeah,
that was.
but like Memnarch isn't around anymore.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
No, like he's gone.
All right.
Like there's no. I don't think there's any Mirari left.
Well, Magic can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, fair enough. Retcon.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that apparently people are kind of pulling from Rivals due to like artwork and stuff like that that's kind of shown up. So we'll see. See what kind of happens with that. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm kind of bored with standard, so I want some new standard cards. Not that I haven't enjoyed Unstable and Iconic Masters, but it's like I need.
There's a little bit of fatigue there. I think.
Yeah, I want some standard cards.
Like stuff that you're not gonna.
I know that Team Energy is just going to be the best deck, or Energy X is going to be the best deck, but I want some new cards.
The Immortal Sun randomly just said like players can get energy too, and you're like, why are your physical mechanics not in your block? It's like, don't ask questions. That's why.
Like you're literally something that should, in theory, create like infinite energy since you're immortal. Don't question it. All right. Now, Mike, I know that you wanted to talk about this Hipsters of the Coast article that recently came out. That was kind of talking in regards to a question that Morrow got on his blog about Spike.
Blogatog, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So Spike Tournament Grinder is a kind of sort of the ending of the psychograph. I think we talked about it on the last show.
We did. We mentioned
and the picture on it depicts a woman as being the aforementioned Spike. And there was a question that was lobbed at Morrow about this. And it was kind of a, messed up question.
Yes, I guess I'll read
sort of definitely 100% a messed up question.
I'll read the question, and I want to talk both a little bit about Morrow's response and about this as well. But I do want to say that listening to this question, if you haven't heard this yet, I think you probably know where this is going because people are terrible.
Yeah.
The person's name was Steinberg, which I will mention is an offensive name.
Yeah.
This article does a good job of pointing out that this is a name that we use for a bunch of nationalist accounts for multiple politicians to support, and they were very, very anti-Semitic. So that's terrible, first and foremost. Greetings, Mr. Rosewater. May I ask why Spike is portrayed as a female when only about 1% of professional players are girls? It's not honest to make people feel included in a representation of a player base that they don't belong. This question is horrifically loaded and ridiculous. I will say here, regardless of anything else that is said, like Rosewater's first response is, well, they're psychographs, right? As which we mentioned, this means that they're just like depictions of like the psychology of a character they sketched out who likes certain magic cards. There's no gender,
right?
There literally is like this. I can't get beyond that. Like it matches how a person thinks. It is no gender. So why in the world you're worried about, like, if you're a Spike, picture yourself on the GD card. Like, what in the world? But anyways, now, Morrow, to his credit, posted a pretty specific response, broke down the numbers, obviously rebutted that it would even be pro players, whatever else. But it was kind of interesting the way he responded to it, and the Hipsters of the Coast article broke it down. Now, I know that it went into probably tedious depth doing this, but it was pointing out that essentially the way the question is worded and written, and even the username that is there, is that Morrow may have been wrong to even answer the question. And I want to at least mention that because I think that's worth talking about when you hear these kind of things. I know I had already, I read enough things on the internet. I know there were some people out there who, when they saw that, Spike was female on the card, that upset them somehow. If you're listening, that upset you, grow up, I guess. I consider your worldview. I don't know how in the world that could actually upset you and make you feel sad. But at the same time, Rosewater may have been in the wrong to have entertained even the thought, if that makes sense, right? Like, the person asking this question is obviously a troll. Like, they're not. What are they going to accomplish here? Are they actually going to get an answer that it's like, well, you know what? You're right. We shouldn't have made. You know what? I'm sorry. If you get a Spike, send it back to us. We'll send you with your new art. Like, what in the world? So I just want to at least mention that, like, this is frustrating. And when you see things like, obviously we've had a bunch of articles. I don't think we talked about it on here, but a couple weeks ago, like, Dan Fournier had written an article about, like, representation in Magic and sort of got raked over the coals by some people about it. Like, just in his comments, like, his wasn't inflammatory in any way, but we do seem to see this sort of, like, underbelly of people who are, I don't know, just awful. I'm just going to say this categorically awful, who seem to have a real problem with, like, representation for some reason. And I don't know, but I thought it was interesting. If you want to go read the article, it's on Hipsters of the Coast. He makes it pretty clear how he would have responded and how he wished Morrow would have responded to, obviously he's an employee of WotC, so, like, him being inflammatory on his blog is not really his prerogative, but there is an argument that him even posting this kind of question is inviting sort of inflammatory responses. So I don't know. Read it, obviously I would strongly suggest if you hear people talking like this and are actively, like, putting down people who might want to have some form of representation, like, maybe stop that from happening, like, stop them from putting those people down. I don't know. This is a bigger discussion that even I could have here, but I want to at least mention it and mention that those kind of people are just terrible. And I almost cursed. I'm sorry, Morgan. I stopped myself.
I appreciate
I
it.
almost dropped a real bad word. Like, I got real close.
I think that at least something that I see in the article that I think is important to pull out, at least as far as like something that we can certainly agree with is, even like regardless of the actual percentage of excuse me, I'm just going to read it verbatim. It says the strongest message we can send as a community, and it's the one I hope you will send. Even though Mark is technically correct, it actually doesn't matter if women make up 25% of the community, or 90, or 10%, or pick any number you'd like percent. Because women are people, magic is for people. Period. Full stop.
I want to mention that he's quoting Rich Stein.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make, if you're going to quote him directly, I want to at least mention his name. So.
Oh, the quote's ending. I see a quote mark and an end quote above that.
Yeah, I'm just naming the name of the author of the article.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the quote. Rich Stein is the writer.
You're quoting the man. I want to at least mention of the author. So
yeah, for sure.
No, and I think that's the point either way. And like, people play Magic, and I love the fact that like somehow, like, I was thinking about this as I like read this, like how ridiculous an argument is that like, oh well, women can't represent Magic because of the percentage, but it's just like, well, but like Gideon represents me because I'm ripped and buff, so I look just like him. Or elves represent all of the elves that play Magic. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, so like if you're gonna argue that like it's not a realistic like interpretation, it's like, well then I'm gonna point you to it's fantasy, so shut up anyways. But like how being upset that like other people would be represented on a card, like actually that upsetting you somehow is something that I just cannot possibly understand. I cannot understand looking at a piece of card art or anything like that for that matter and going, wait a second, women don't do that. What? Like what? Who? I'm sorry. I can't give even complete thoughts when I think about this. It is so stupid. But I did think I want to you make mention of that just because he sort of, Rich Stein here suggests that Rosewater essentially just gives him a platform to spew this kind of hate, isn't going to really care what Rosewater's response is, and I think anybody could have seen Rosewater's response coming from a mile away, again, because he's an employee. So I think it's important to note that like WotC should continue to just do what they have done, being inclusive and representing as many people as they can, and maybe ignore these people. You know what I mean? As opposed to giving them like an actual like front page view on their blog. So,
yeah, it's definitely like a weird spot to be in, I imagine. But I think that's probably there is the old adage: don't feed the trolls. And,
yeah, 100%. Oh, and if you hear me say that and you say something along the lines of, "Oh, but his freedom of speech," well, one, Mark Rosewater gets sent thousands of questions.
Yeah, he doesn't answer
all of them. So you're okay. He's discerning, and it's his blog. He doesn't have to acknowledge you ever.
At all.
And I would hope that in the future he doesn't acknowledge you ever.
At all.
I think that's what ever meant.
Well, just,
ever. For real.
Reinforcing.
No, I appreciate it.
All right. So let's talk about some Iconic Masters. So Iconic Masters hit. We've Mike and I have played. I've drafted once online. You drafted it in paper.
Once. Yeah.
And it's boring. I don't know. It's mediocre. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is mediocre.
I don't think I ever want to draft it again. Apparently, the best deck is the White Black Life Gain deck, which I've seen.
There you go. David exists.
Pretty consistently kick some butt.
Yeah, I just want to say that's been in my cube for a little while.
Not this version, apparently.
No.
It's definitely not the best archetype.
To be fair,
Well, you need multiple of the same cards.
you also need like you can open like Blood Baron and Viscopa. In the set,
that really helps.
Yeah.
That really helps.
That's pretty good.
Can't get that one in your cube. So
No, you definitely like it. It is something that I don't think you could really properly build a cube. You need definitely like multiple copies of stuff and
So,
rares. Rares
like what?
super help. Let's see, like just other like enchantments that give like random creatures lifelink. There's the enchantment that if you gain 4 life, you get an angel. Like having multiples of those.
Angelic
help.
Accord is really the big one there. You also have like the Viscopa Guildmage?
Yeah, Viscopa Guildmage.
Like
Okay.
Just a bunch of like random stuff that kind of they all come together. Pristine Talisman, which we know should not be in your cube.
every single time.
Don't do it.
He's put that back in.
Yeah, don't do it.
Just like snap draft it, and you play against a red deck, and you just like tap it every turn. You're like, this is just literally
is what this does.
Chalice of Life. That's what this is.
Yeah, I think it's that and Capsize are the two cards that
Yes, good riddance
just
to Capsize.
they remind you instantly of why they were cut from the
Yep.
cube.
when I drafted it, like the archetypes are there. They're fine.
We both drafted blue white. I drafted blue white flyers, I guess.
I drafted blue white elusive spellfist prowess deck. And like it was fun, but talking to some people even last night when I was up at Comic Town for a little bit, and ding, and I was just talking about how like the set itself doesn't feel as powerful as other Masters sets. Like you have some cool cards in it. Don't get me wrong, but otherwise you're just like okay, like nothing is exciting about opening Angelica Chord in a pack. I just want you to understand that like there's like doesn't feel good. Like compared to like Modern Masters 3, which has this like 5-color format, felt just like really really cool, right? This doesn't feel that way, and the cards you're opening in general aren't as exciting. The good ones, like the bombs, are obviously there, and like if you open a Mana Drain, you're on cloud 9. But for the most part,
I definitely opened a Mana Drain in my Phantom queue, and I was like,
no.
"Whoa!"
Did you get to cast it though?
Yeah, it was great. I cast it multiple times, and it was fantastic every time. And I'm like, this card shouldn't exist in Magic.
I opened a foil Magus the Moon, so I got to keep that one though.
Okay, yeah, congratulations.
But
I apparently hate money. So.
Like it's doing like I don't know. I wanted to mention because you said talk about the draft. I want to mention like how do we feel about the set as like a price thing too. MTG Goldfish had an article discussing like reprint equity, and they've talked about that before, and the pace that Wizards is now reprinting stuff. And obviously they were keeping a good pace with Modern Masters, but now that we have Iconic Masters and then Magic 25 coming early next year.
25 Masters or whatever it's called.
Whatever it is.
Another Master set.
But another master set for that, they're worried about like how because if you look at the prices for Iconic Masters, this is the largest Masters printing we've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
it's
in Target
in like Walmart.
Yeah, like you can buy it in like big stores, and people are finding like good sales on them, like getting like coupons to use on them and things for it. So that's gross. But if you look at the prices, like as a competitive player, pretty happy. Like you can get a Horizon Canopies for under $30 right now. Fluster Storms are like under 20.
Keep in mind, Horizon Canopy used to be the most expensive card in Modern.
Absolutely. I mean, Grove of the Burnwolves is a $10 card now.
Oh, that's great. That was like $80 at some point. It's like why?
It's certainly great, but like to be able to print these sets and to justify the pack prices to maintain card equity overall, they have to not get over that. Like, there's a tipping point, and like this set makes you feel like. Kind of close to that tipping point.
The tipping point being almost like the Chronicles problem.
Yeah, where cards are not
like
worth the
pack.
pack.
Reason why they didn't do this kind of thing in the past.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Chronicles is a set.
It was the original Masters
So
set.
they started the reserve list, right? And then they decided, well, we might as well print all the cards we didn't put on the reserve list. Right? Or no, is the reserve list come after this?
I don't think the reserve list happened. I don't know. I don't know where the reserve list comes
Chronicles doesn't have any like Chronicles has stuff from a bunch of different sets, but it doesn't have any like the good cards.
I think Chronicles caused the reserve list.
Okay, my apologies.
It was the issue because it tanked the prices.
You're right. I'm getting that backwards. You're absolutely right. But Chronicles is a set that consisted of like reprints from the Dark, Legends, Antiquities,
Arabian
Nights, right? And it missed a bunch of weird key cards, which is awkward. It was white bordered, and it was printed so much that it almost like think of how like comic books went bankrupt or like Atari buried video games in the desert. Magic started doing that kind of stuff. So the Blood Moon's in that set, so I guess like it bounced back. Like
yeah, City of Brass. There's like some okay cards, but yeah,
I
like
think that's it. You named it. In Concordant Crossroads. Ooh, did it.
I'm trying to think of whatever. What else was
it? Doesn't
it was
matter.
Trash. Actual trash.
Trash.
But yeah. So like, there's a tipping point here, and like I think releasing them to big box stores is part of that. And I have to assume if they did that with Iconic Masters, there's no way that they're not doing that with Magic 25 Masters or whatever it is. Like that's going to be there too. Maybe Modern Masters 4 won't be in those stores, but and what are you reprinting at this point? Like. What like after Mana Drain, like people were trying to figure out like what's the next big reprint that hasn't been that will sell a set because it won't be Goyf. You know what I mean? Like Goyf is still expensive, but not it's dipped under $50 a couple times now, and it's not going to be like the face of a set that gets people excited. They'll go, oh okay, cool. I'm not going to open any of it, but it means cheaper Tarmogoyfs. Like what's the card that gets people to go, whew, got to do that?
I don't know.
They blew Forcible already, blew Mana Drain. We've blown Goyf multiple times.
All the fetch lands.
Like, look, you start looking at certain cards. Like, this is the 4th printing now of Cryptic Command, three times down in modern master sets. Like, Kiki Jiki's 3rd or 4th time printed in these extra sets too. Like,
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think do you think at some point in time they lean towards like actually making good environments instead, and not necessarily having to sell, like not selling on?
Yes, but then prices have to go back to normal, and then you're selling Tarmogoyfs in packs that cost $4, which
Yeah.
causes the inverse of it, where now you can just buy a whole bunch of packs and flood the market. So again, it's an interesting read and an interesting concept. So I know I got off the point of drafting.
Maybe
but
they just slow down. Like maybe after 25,
I think they have to slow down.
Just
like
slow
25
down.
seems like this is a big year, and then after that, they
And
can
then
slow
maybe
down.
we, instead of seeing like 2019 Modern Masters, we just don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
So speaking of 25, we got some artwork from Dominaria.
Well, yeah, we did.
I forgot
This
about
again,
that.
PAX Unplugged was something that happened over the weekend, which is that PAX focused on.
Wait, how do we get any pictures of it? It was unplugged.
It was streamed though. The
Oh,
streaming
it was
was
on like
this?
one of those old timey cameras
it was
with the
just like-
flash.
Oh no,
Right.
pictures were taken.
Hold
of
on,
it.
so it's PAX Unplugged. You're saying it was streamed? So we're talking like a river runs through it. Like right, that's what we're.
Like, why?
Potato.
Anyway, it is a PAX that is focused on board games and card games, stuff like that. Stuff that is not video games, hence Unplugged.
Mine was funnier.
And that's how we got that Rivals of Ixalan spoiler, along with some unstable spoilers. We got some artwork from Dominaria, featuring some fairly iconic sort of people. We saw like Llanowar elves, I believe, at least elves that look like they were in the Llanowar of some persuasion. And there were someone had named all the things that they had actually shown.
Oh, this is only one I care about.
Yeah.
But from the looks of it, it does seem that there is a Jaya Ballard art, and she's an old lady now.
Well, so I think it's interesting. So she's a planeswalker,
She technically is like thousands of years old, so
right? But so,
always kind of
but
been.
If you remember,
old.
because we have X amount of years since, and I don't remember how many years it's actually been since they fixed or whatever since the mending
mending
happened. But we do know that it was long enough that Liliana also got old.
Yeah.
Because then she went and made all the demonic contracts. So it makes sense that Jaya Ballard's old. Now, I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know if she's still a planeswalker or not. Like, I don't remember if she gave up her spark or whatever.
I think it's just a fairy.
But no, tons of planeswalkers.
Oh, did they?
Like, either they died sealing it, or they, like, pretty much every random old planeswalker you could think of from, like, that era died or gave up their spark. Like, they did a pretty clean break. But so I don't know if she is or not, but I think it's really cool. And I also think that, like, as much as I don't really want to see Chandra in another set right now, they've got to let Chandra meet Jaya Ballard, right? They already mentioned it so many times because Chandra was
Oh, and the
was
goggles.
at,
Right?
she was at the school. She was at the abbot of Carol Keep, whatever. Carol Keep was the school that Jaya Ballard started. That's why, like, Chandra was there. She, like, so there's this idea of, like, she would like to meet this person. Like, they think they'd mesh well, and it's like, you've got to let her meet her, right?
So there is a theory that the remember or I think it was Origins or Kaladesh, where she's at Carol Keep, and there's the elderly woman who's like the head.
Oh, that she's
person.
just Jaya Ballard?
She's Jaya Ballard, because if you see the artwork and read the description of her in that story, they match up pretty well.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. That was actually but before it was Origins into Battle for Zendikar.
Okay.
Because that's
I wasn't sure,
that's
like,
she
where that story
when
was.
Gideon tried to recruit
Yeah,
her when
yeah.
she was at the Carol Keep. But I think I don't know, they've got to let her just like okay, you two go burn something together. Just go have a good time, please. Preferably blue creatures.
That's the dream. But yeah, that was the pretty exciting thing to see.
If you don't know who Jaya Ballard is, I apologize. She was an old legendary creature from Ice Age who never got a card, so she got a card in Cold Snap, which is pretty iconic. Like, the artwork for it is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Wasn't she in
Or was it
Time Spiral?
Time Spiral, not Cold Snap. I'm sorry. Time Spiral.
But like, yeah,
But
like,
she's referenced on Ice Age cards. My
look at
apologies.
like any like old burn spell. It probably has a flavor text with Jaya Ballard
Yeah.
quote on it.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. So man, I'm sorry. I just got really excited.
Oh, and I guess the most recent players will know her from Pyromancer's goggles.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, those are her goggles.
Those goggles did something.
They did do
So-
something.
Did a lot of things.
They did do a lot of things. But yeah, I mean that's pretty cool to see. Obviously, Dominaria is pretty far out, but I think a lot of people are excited about it.
I'm really excited.
You know what? 2018 seems to be like the year of nostalgia because we have 25 masters, and then we'll have Dominaria. So it's like, remember,
It's almost like they planned.
And
remember,
a Team Pro Tour.
and the Team Pro Tour
And Legacy on the Pro Tour,
2019 year of Magic nostalgia.
It's going to be a good year for the podcast.
just in time for that Death Ride Shaman banning. What?
Please,
What?
please. Oh my gosh, we don't talk about Legacy a whole lot, but I've never seen like a card that was like, no, just get rid of it. Get rid of this card. It is clearly like just too good. All right. So before we head into the competitive segment of the show, let's talk a little bit about Comic Town. They're a lovely sponsor, and they had a Sealed Expo last week, and I know that Mike participated in it, didn't do very well, but we do want to give a shout-out to Alex Johnson for taking it down. The next big thing I think they're really doing is going to be their championship series, their invitational at the end of the year, and that is coming up on, the 9th?
December 9th.
December 9th. So if you are qualified for that, good luck to you. I know you two are both qualified for it, so I hope
Come fight us.
hope you both get to the finals and get to, hug it out, be co-champions. That's how that works, right?
We almost did that, the Legacy one.
Yeah, I
But
failed.
It's okay. Well, but you qualified, though, so you,
No,
you
it's
actually... Yeah.
You won, but
Oh no, I guess
you lost and you won.
We met in the wrong round. My apologies.
Yeah.
'cause you
Yeah.
beat me.
So, get ready for that. And also check out their Facebook page. Just do a quick search for Comic Con Gaming Center. I don't know if they're doing anything for Unstable, but that's that same
It's that same weekend.
so
but-
who knows?
I hope there's like F&M Unstable draft.
That'd be fun.
Because like there's a bunch of cards that you really want a bunch of people playing around you.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to have like one F&M draft where it's like just a bunch
Yeah.
of people playing Unstable.
I will say another thing with Comic Town that they've been doing. If you're into other games other than Magic, they've been doing like D&D.
Yeah,
at the
D&D
store,
nights.
and
Yep.
they're doing like game. I don't want to say like samples, but like walkthroughs,
Sure.
demos. Yeah,
Yeah.
for like
Samples. This is delicious.
That's a
I knew
meeple,
the
sir. Get
samples
that
wasn't
meeple
the
out of your
word.
mouth.
Yeah, I knew.
Oh, I thought you said maple.
My bad.
Oh,
I knew samples wasn't the word, but yeah, they've been doing board game demos, and they're starting to like expand their board game area there. So that's pretty cool too, because then we like to play board games as well.
and like some stuff they've gotten in. Like the cool thing is that most of the people there know how to play them. Like I know the new the Legend of the Five Rings has come out, and like a bunch of the people up there play that and have done that.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of cool games that have just come out.
Yeah, so if Magic's not necessarily your thing, I don't know where you're listening to this.
Yeah, why
it's
are you
not.
listening to it?
But if it's like casually your thing and you just enjoy like our comedic stylings, but you're more into board games, check them out. You just did a head nod on an audio podcast.
I was gonna say something when I realized I did a head nod, but the people knew.
they heard the gusts of wind
They heard
pass
it,
by your
yeah.
head.
I stopped myself because I realized I did that, and I was gonna say something, but I realized I made a physical gesture, and I have no idea. Like,
We're done. You're done
right.
here. All right, competitive. We'll get through this rather quickly because there's not a lot to talk about.
Nothing. Too
Guess
crazy.
what? If you thought that Energy and Ramanat Red are good, guess what? They still good.
Yeah, you were right.
Shahar Shenhar did win though, so congrats to him playing Teamer Energy, defeating Ramanat Red in the finals, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And that's good. Like Shahar is like, it's good to see him get back into a winning form. We haven't seen him perform particularly well recently, and he's still a notable person. So I'm glad to see him win here with the de facto best deck in the format, Teamer Energy.
It was a great win, and like I didn't watch a ton of the GP. I did watch some of the top 8 matches, and I think anybody who's familiar with Shahar Shahar, he's got that little kid luck, even though he's he's probably like 25 now at this point, but I think he's still referred to by his friends as a little kid still. But he had some pretty good draws. We'll just say had some nice draws on the top 8 there. But I think that also goes to show you just the power of the Teamer Energy. It's like there's a reason why it's been the best deck in the format for a while.
Yeah. What?
I'm really sorry. This is totally random, but people are sending me holiday sweaters that have Overwatch on them, and there's a Diva one. And what's Magic? Don't care. Diva holiday sweater. Need it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now too, and they're great. So some of the other notable standouts were there was a red green pummeler deck. So we've been used to the blue green or the Sultai versions.
Simlet.
Yeah,
The tested.
the tested. Definitely showing up,
What?
bringing the beats.
And the Samet voice of dissent. Oh god.
Yeah, this is the Samet theme deck.
Oh,
I don't know if you know
God.
that. And yeah, this is something that we have kind of sort of seen different variations on, but now we see the old school, the classic kind of show up, and yeah, I mean it's all right. I do like making I like making my own infinite elemental, as it were, because once the pummeler gets big enough, it doesn't matter what that number says anymore.
I will say, I know it's small sample size, but James Stevenson played the red green pummeler deck. He played against Shahar Sinhar in the top 8, and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
It was. This deck got handled pretty easily.
No,
by Teamer.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that being the case.
Yeah. Again, small. I mean, it was one match. Maybe you got a little unlucky. Whatever.
But I mean, like that was always. I always felt like that was just how it happened. In all honesty, like playing Pummeler and like playing against Team Energy or like any sort of deck that just has like a lot of a decent amount of removal, especially with like a Braid now being in the format.
Yeah,
like,
I was saying like a Braid's like really awkward when you have Pummelers because they don't need to deal damage to it. You're like, oh, I have this pump spell. Oh, well,
it
that's cool.
doesn't matter. How about that?
But yeah, I mean, it was a good job making the top 4 with that deck. Yeah, the rest we see Christopher Larson playing the 4-color energy deck with its base black with the Gontis and Glint Sleeve Cyphernus. So we talked about that a little bit last time.
The different variation.
Mm-hmm.
You never when you click on a 4-color energy deck, you never know what you're going to get. Which one?
Sometimes the 4 colors are even labeled Teamer, so you really don't even know.
It's a Wild West out there practically for deck names.
I think that's nothing else too crazy. Did we see any of like the Desert Red decks do well this week? I didn't see any.
I mean, we only have access to a top 16 from what I'm looking at here. So if they did do well, then I don't think we'd even see it on here. And I mean, it depends on your definition of well.
Yeah, we do have Corey Burkhart finishing 15th with the blue-white cycling deck.
Yeah,
we talked about that a little bit, and I know Mike played it a little bit online.
Yep. Played a little bit is correct. I like the deck. It's really tough to play online because the deck does not operate quickly. And cycling takes a ton of time. Cycling takes a ton of time.
There's certain decks that are much easier to play online, and then other ones that are more
just
difficult.
cycling as a mechanic, especially when you're activating Drakehaven, is super tedious. But the deck is fun to play. But I found it frustrating to. There are a lot of situations you could lose from, and like having played against it a couple times, like you can really pressure the things they can do because there's only so many things they can do on certain turns, and if they don't have a Drakehaven, then they're not doing anything to you. So,
yeah.
But they have the ability to gain a ton of life, and I will say, Abandoned Sarcophagus, a card that is much better than you might think.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about 4 countervailing winds?
that card is great.
Yeah.
Especially, again, if you have a Sarcophagus, like getting to cycle it and then cast it out of the yard is insane. That is a
That's
real
nice.
thing that happens, but that card is actually really good.
That's nice.
There are some awkward draws if you don't have enough early cyclers where it's like a really bad like force spike.
Yeah.
But most of the time you're just cycling it then. So it's certainly not terrible.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we know Corey Burkhart's a big fan of Grixis control and modern. He likes himself control deck. So not really surprising to see him play that deck. But I don't know. I don't really have anything else for the GP.
No, not at all. Again, Teamer and Ramen Red pretty much not Teamer, but Energy X and Ramen Red pretty much finish out the sort of the rest of the decks here, and yeah, that's all I really have to say about Grand Prix Portland.
I thought you were going to say about that.
about that. So let's move on to the Open, which was a team-constructed Open held in Baltimore. Shout out to Jordan, who went with Strangers. I mean, he went with other people that we know. But they're dead.
What?
Like, they don't count if it wasn't us.
You were about to say they're dead to us? You're just like super aggressive about this. Jordan's allowed to see other Magic players,
No,
okay?
it's just us.
We're not married.
We're his only friends. And we're the only ones that matter. No, just kidding. But it's not like they won or anything, so who cares?
Harsh.
Yep.
but no. Who did win?
It was Noah Walker, Dylan Donegan, and Oliver 2 take it down. So team little
Should they have
kid,
called him Oliver 3?
the team little kid took it down. Actually, I have
They're
no
all
idea.
technically adults.
Yeah, sure.
Barely.
I actually don't know how old Noah Walker is, but I still want to say he's relatively young.
I believe in the post in the post win interview that they did, I believe they said they were 19, 20, and 21.
Oh, jeez,
So,
yeah, okay.
So, pretty young, but I mean, I think all three players have shown. Obviously Oliver 2, top 4 in Worlds. You have Dylan Donegan, he's won a Star City Invitational, and Noah Walker has won at least one Star City Open, if not more than that. But he's consistently top 8ing them.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was the legacy player. I was slightly surprised to see him not play Grixis Delver, because that's kind of the deck that he just always plays.
He was playing.
He's playing the 4-color Leoville deck.
Yeah. But he's a legacy aficionado.
Yeah, he's really
a
good at
master.
Legacy.
For just being how young he is, he's just watching that guy play Legacy is just.
Yeah,
It's also important that deck that he played is the deck in Legacy right now.
Yeah, for sure.
The reason that we said Band Deathrite Shaman, that's why.
yeah. I mean, he had a particularly impressive match. We played against Jarvis Yu, who was playing lands, and Jarvis is kind of a lands expert. And really good, it was a really good back and forth there, and both players kind of playing around things at the same time. It was really cool and fun to watch. So. But yeah, Dylan Donegan's he was playing Grixis Death Shadow in Modern, and that's a deck that he's been playing for a while now, and has had some reasonable success with, and Oliver 2 playing, Teamer Energy and Standard.
Shocking.
But, pretty stock list there, but he played it pretty well. Obviously, he's a great player. So, good team taken down. Not really that surprised. What was surprising was the team of Huey Jensen. It was Huey Jensen, Owen Turnenwald, and it wasn't Reed Duke. It was.
It's just Reed Duke's hair.
Name. Yeah, it was Reed Duke's hair.
So in that scenario you're depicting, is it just
it doesn't really matter.
Well, no, is it just the hair, or is it the full scalp? Is it some sort of horror film?
So what you don't know about Reed Duke is that it's a wig, and then anyone who wears that wig is insanely good at Magic.
Wasn't that the same premise as an episode of The Simpsons, right? Where Homer got snake's hair and became a criminal?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That was a Treehouse of Horror, wasn't it?
Oh no, it was a canon episode.
Yeah, it's definitely canon. That Homer was a criminal.
To be fair, that is canon. Actually.
Yeah, Homer is a criminal a lot of the time. But anyway, yes, that is that. That's actually how it works.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, fun fact.
Andrew Cuneo was the
Hey, we did it. We bought him time. High five.
So yeah, it was a little surprising there.
Well, you don't have the Peach Garden Oath. You can't have that success.
Yeah.
That's
I guess
Andrew
it
Cuneo.
all falls apart when Reed Duke's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
And also
He's at home on stream watching, going, "Good."
yeah. Also,
Fail without me.
I believe it was another team of Brad Nelson, BBD, and Ben Stark was another kind of super team that did not do very well. Didn't make day 2, I don't believe. So just slightly surprising, because with these team events, we've gotten used to just these somebody shows up with 3 pros. It's okay, yeah, they're gonna at least top 8. Not necessarily the case here. Maybe there's a little bit more variance involved when it's constructed and not limited.
Yeah, there certainly can be. Sometimes you just have bad matchups depending on what you're playing, and Modern, I've fully can admit to it being a bit swingy at times. So maybe that is just kind of what the how the cookie crumbled, as it were.
So I had a couple takeaways from this. First, we found out that Patrick Sullivan can play things other than mono red.
What?
Yeah. So Patrick Sullivan, who we know, he's one of the commentators, often paired with Cedric Phillips on the SEG tour. He was playing in this event, and he was playing Sneak and Show. which was a little bit surprising because anybody that knows him or has seen him play is he just always plays mono red, basically, or at least like red aggressive, like zoo decks or things like that. So it was a little bit of a remix for him. And then the other thing, Jeskai was the most played modern archetype.
Interesting.
On day 2, and I think like even if you delve deeper into that, because this is kind of things where I feel like the decks are kind of mislabeled. Is sometimes it's labeled as Jeskai Tempo and sometimes Jeskai Control. So there are 5 Jeskai decks, and actually 3 of them were like the true Jeskai Control with like no Geists or Spellclaws and things like that. Like we're talking like Torrential Gearhulk, like and Wraths and things like that. And that was a little surprising to me because like the Geist Jeskai deck is kind of been like the default. That's the one that's been put up a lot of results at regionals. It's been there's certain people on SCG Tour like Jonathan Rossum who've been having really good success with it. Harlan Fear is another player who won an open with it, and that's kind of been like the standard version. And you see kind of these more controlling, like bigger versions that are kind of popping up here. I know Ali Antrazi played it. Benjamin Nikolic, who he's a player that maybe not a lot of people know, but like he's consistently putting up good finishes with this deck. Like that's like the only deck he plays. So I think that's like it was interesting to see that because it was surprising to me, and I think it'll be fun to see if that's where it continues to go.
Just looking at all these all the copies of Searcher as Kanta slotted into these decks, especially the version that goes back to playing almost no win conditions, that's the win condition.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, and I could tell you. So I played Modern at Comic Town last night, and I played just like the blue-white control deck, just the kind of the blue-white do-nothing control deck. And kind of the newer versions of that have Search for Escanta in it. And that was the first time I got to play with that card. And, whew, man, that card is so good. So I would imagine, it's really busted in these Jeskai decks as well.
Yeah, I see, looking at Ali Antrazi's list, he has, a Secure the Wastes as well as weird win conditions. And I remember back in Standard, but, cards obviously that card was good, but then there were versions back in, this is, Scars of Mirrodin Standard, but you had white, the Zeniths, and White Sun Zenith was one of those win conditions you could do that with because it shuffled back in. So it's kind of cool to see that, and then you can go find it with the search, and that's a way you can kind of close out a game, surprisingly.
Yeah, so I think that's fairly stock because of the 3 players that played this version, they all have the one Secure the Waste.
Yeah, it just seems like a sweet, because stock now, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
not a thing before.
It's not a card that you're used to seeing in Modern for sure, but I've seen it in some just straight blue-white lists as well.
I just keep looking at this list, and I keep seeing cards I like. There's a Soulfire Grandmaster in the sideboard.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, Ali Antrazi's was a little bit different than the other 2. So you had Nikolic, and then you had Luke Purcell was the other player, and they're so similar that's I wonder if they all knew each other or worked on the list together. I just thought it was an interesting development in Modern that I kind of picked up on there.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Standard was a lot of Teamer decks, as you might imagine.
Teamer decks.
Shocking.
Yeah.
No, the Ramblin decks play shock. There's a mono black aggro deck and a Marionette deck. That's kind of sweet.
There's the blue black gift deck plotted by Ben Friedman, which is sort of more of a mid range version of the Godfarer's Gift. You're more creature focused. You're playing Gate to the Afterlife. And obviously Scarab God, man, pretty good card. So more of a different take. Kaizo Rebooter, man, that's a fantastic card to have access to for sure too.
That is pretty sweet. Real quick, just to jump back over to Modern, I think Steve Rubin's deck was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Oh, it's the Hollow One deck.
Yeah, the black red Hollow One deck. So I
feel like this would be like the Mike deck. Maybe because it's just playing Hollow One.
I like Hollow One a lot.
So this is a list that I've seen lists out there, and I don't know.
Playing Flamewick Phoenix, so
I like that one too.
Yeah. I feel like with a player of Steve Rubin's caliber, when he plays it, it kind of makes it real. Like, I don't know, like not to like, disrespect anybody else that
Well,
was playing this, but like, when you have a Pro Tour champion that's picking up this deck in a team event, that to me tells me like,
it
okay,
assists
that's
in like
this is like a real
legitimizing
deck.
the deck.
Yes.
Also, get your burning inquiries now for the skyrocket.
So yeah, I mean this deck, it's obviously playing Burning Inquiry, Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion as kind of your ways to discard, and then you have both things that are good in the graveyard or that benefit from discarding cards. So you have Flameblade Adept, standard All Star,
Yeah, clearly.
it's still legal. So that and the Hollow one, want you to discard cards. Obviously, things like Bloodghast, Flamewake Phoenix, which work well out of the graveyard. Gurmag Angler, you get to fill up your graveyard pretty quickly with this, so you can, this deck has 4 Gurmag Anglers in it, and you can cast them for 1 mana pretty easily a lot of the time. Even playing like things like Fiery Temper, which is kind of weird for Modern, but I guess the way that it plays out, it's almost like a zoo deck, so it's like you're just playing like 8 bolts.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Sometimes you just need bolts 5 through 8.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting deck. Fairly cheap for if we're just talking about like
Especially
modern decks.
Bloodghast getting reprinted. That card is now under $10 as well. So
Yeah. So really, I mean, so it's almost like a budget deck, I guess, if you could say like a $500 deck is budget. But
your pain points are still lands, obviously, but
yeah. But pretty cool. I mean, we'll see if this is something that picks up in popularity or if it's kind of a flash in the pan. But
I'd play this deck. This deck looks like a lot of fun.
you would play this deck.
I just want to Burning Inquiry my opponent, make them draw 3 cards, and then like
discard all the lands.
Just discard all the lands.
You're that guy, like, gotcha.
Got him. And then go hollow and go.
It could just as easily like take like a sketch hand from your opponent and turn it good though. Like,
I understand it.
yeah, but I'll be tilted when that happens.
I mean, obviously this deck is like set up to like take advantage.
I can't believe
of
I made you ancestral, then your hand got good.
Yeah, when their hand gets really bad, I'll tell them like, well, yeah, that happens sometimes. When their hand gets really good, I'll be super tilted and be like, well, I was really lucky, and
Yeah, gosh, so lucky.
Gosh, better go
It's garbage.
play the lottery. Gosh. Anyway, anything else from Baltimore as far as the Open is concerned?
No, but I really got to get in on one of these team events. I haven't played in one yet.
They're so fun. They're so much fun.
Jordan abandoned us, so I guess
Yeah,
we're looking for a
well,
player.
tryouts.
Tryouts.
There's one in Cincinnati coming up in March.
Okay,
A couple
cool.
months away, but
Yeah, it's very far away.
I can probably make myself be there. Can you?
Yeah, like I can. Be
I guess
like,
I'm the question mark here.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. And then we have
I'll
to make
do it-
someone play Legacy. So
I'll do my best. I mean, I'm the legacy master here. So it's-
Yep,
but by that
comparatively.
time, maybe Death Right Shaman won't be in the format. What am I gonna do then? Just play straight Grixis.
Yeah, or just play like a blue red Delver.
Could do that.
Yeah, or Team or Delver.
I mean, let's be honest. You can play Modern if you want. If I get to play more Splinter Twin, I might play Legacy.
oh, yeah,
Oh man.
fair enough. All right.
We'll figure it out. We got like 4 months to figure that out.
Yeah, who cares? Hopefully Standard's better. Or I'll just play Team Energy. I don't care. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Standard Classic. Guess what? It's a little bit more varied. I'm not going to be all doom and gloom. It's a teeny bit more varied. With definitely a lot of energy, like both Teamer and Sultai and 4-color and what have you. But we have some like weird ones. We have Blue Light Control, which I assume, I haven't looked at the deck, but I assume it's an approach list.
It is an approach list.
Okay. We have Mono Black Aggro, piloted by Frank Scarron. And this is kind of a deck that's been like showing up here and there a little bit. Are you looking at this deck, Mike?
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a different one.
Oh, okay, we can talk about that one next because you're faced at things.
Sorry, yeah.
But this is kind of like, it's just Mono Black Aggro. I don't know. It's a bunch of creatures of varying toughnesses. That it is like supernatural stamina. That is sort of the cute thing that's going on here.
The card's sweet.
Okay, it's a post spell and brings your duder back, which is pretty good. And Ruin Raider. Ruin Raider's a great card. I'm a big fan of that card. I've only cast it in limited, but I've cast I've cast Dark Confidant in modern, and in this deck, it's pretty close. Pretty close to just being Dark Confidant. So
This deck is playing Fourth Bridge Prowler in the sideboard.
Whew.
Just want you to know.
Nice.
That's for that must be for the mirror. You can kill their night market lookouts.
What happened-
Yeah, for the mirror.
What
yeah.
happened to the first bridge? Gone, sir. Second bridge? Gone.
Don't tell me the third.
Third bridge? We're losing it. Fourth bridge.
You go proud.
Call in
My
the fourth
time
bridge.
to shine.
The fourth stringer. He's
So-
mostly just there for practice, but he stepped up when his
Sometimes
name
he
was
just steps
called.
up, and kill something on the way in. But let me take a look. What deck are you looking at?
The mono white vehicle.
I figured that.
Wait,
Yeah,
mono white vehicles?
Mono white vehicles.
There's Peace Walker Colossuses in the main of this. Many of them.
Snap.
Yeah.
You might be going, I don't know what that card is because I forgot that
I
it was
don't know
a
what
thing
this-
too.
I don't know what
3
this
mana for a 6/6 vehicle with a crew cost of 4. And you can pay white and colorless. Another target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn.
Oh, yeah,
it crews
I remember
other
this.
vehicles.
I remember
What
that.
is this deck?
I don't know. Fun.
This plays
Probably.
SRAM's Expertise and Servo Exhibition, which you can SRAM's Expertise into Servo Exhibition,
Yeah.
which feels really great.
It's got Heart of Kira and Gideon.
It
Gideon
does
of the
Arctic
Trials.
Fury. Well,
It does.
Gideon of the Trials also crews the Peace Walker Colossus, so he gets right in there.
Get in there.
I just
So you can crew 2 vehicles at the same time?
yes.
How does it? How can he be in 2 places at once? Is he like that ninja from Unstable? Like he's in 2 places
He's
at the
actually
same time?
he's the opposite of Pacific Rim.
Yeah. So he's in the drift, as it were.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting. All right, Gideon, I see you. I mean,
I just like look at
that's
these,
impressive.
these creatures. Three Fairground Warden. All right,
Cool. Yeah.
good card. 3 SRAM Senior Officer makes sense.
Edificer. But all right.
Yeah. sorry.
Played in a totally fair way.
Yeah, yeah.
We haven't seen that yet.
4 Toolcraft Exemplar totally makes sense. Very aggressive. Got it. 4 Sacred Cat. Get out of all these decks.
No, meow.
He's good at crewing like Aethosphere Harvester, right? Like you kill it and it just comes back. And like, wait, I thought I killed that thing already. You just look in the window. It's a little cat with a mummy. A little mummy cat. It's coming over. Lifelink cat.
Obviously, there are a lot of absurd things that can crew a vehicle, but the idea of like
A mummified cat.
yes, the idea of a mummified cat piloting a flying vehicle.
So is this like a cat version of the Power Rangers then? Because it takes a crew cost of 4 to crew the Colossus, so you need all 4 cats. Like, by our powers combined.
Yeah, they formed the Megazord, man. It's technically Voltron. Let's be
It's
real.
true. Oh yeah, because the cats.
lines,
Yeah, absolutely. So this deck can literally go Toolcraft Exemplar into Heart of Kirin, which is very, very good, or it can go Sacred Cat into SRAM into Peace Walker Colossus.
and you're like, what? Okay.
I drew a card.
Hey,
Yeah,
to be
it's a
fair,
cool
though,
deck.
this is sweet.
No, this is really
this
sweet.
sweet. Top aided.
That Colossus, I mean, that's just attacking literally through everything.
Hey, it got us talking about it.
No, I think it's
Hey,
cool. I'm glad you top it. It's
absolutely.
great. I make fun of Sacred Cat, but that card has more than proved its worth. So
Sacred Cat is like the new Judge's Familiar.
it's literally sacred. Like,
Nah, it's the new Judge's Familiar.
It's the-
It's the card that's like,
it's-
why is this? I don't understand how it keeps winning. It
it's
just
the
does.
new Thraben Inspector.
No, I wouldn't do that.
It's pretty ubiquitous
You're-
in white.
No.
You're. I don't think so.
I'm dancing in dangerous territory.
Yeah,
I know.
you are. You better slow
You know,
your
you know
roll.
who
Yeah.
can figure out this mystery? Thraben
Urban
Inspector.
Inspector. She'd give you a clue. But yeah, so anything else? We do see like Marty vehicles, Esper approach kind of show up, and Esper marionette again.
That is 2 marionette decks, one
Yeah.
open and one here. So.
There are a lot of people that like puppets apparently in Baltimore.
For Tezzeret the Schemer, huh?
Yeah, that card was in the other one too. Like that's pretty cool. Tezzeret, Tezzeret essentially makes the same things as treasures. So
Yeah,
So this is not okay. All right.
yeah, this is actually what all the token decks started as. Were these versions playing the marionette and trying to combo off with treasure maps?
So weren't the other ones? Didn't they have God Pharaoh's Gift, or am I just making that up?
No,
Okay.
some of them had anointed procession,
Okay.
but no, not God Pharaoh's gift. Most of them don't have enough creatures for God Pharaoh's gift.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I thought that, but it's a pretty sweet deck too. I think Treasure Map in general is like an underplayed card.
It's a really good card.
I agree.
It's starting to show up in some kind of lists that you wouldn't think of. Like Ben Stark played it in his red deck, and Yu Watanabe played it in his 4-color energy deck.
We now officially have implements seeing more play.
There
So
you
that's
go.
good.
They finally did it. They've been implemented.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that one right too. Yeah, I guess.
you certainly did. So Modern Classic
Sounds good.
it was won by Kazu Negri playing Counters Company, defeating John Bonnet playing Eldrazi Tron. And as you know, as typical Modern fashion, we just got a whole bunch of stuff here.
I just want to point out the two Distended Mindbenders.
Yeah, Descend My Better. I'm a fan.
Nekri's sideboard. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Let's make you get rid of some cards. That's pretty great. I'm sure it was pretty good versus Eldrazi Tron.
Possibly.
Possibly. Maybe not. I don't know. I know it gets something high and something low, so
Oh, look, there's Ponza in the top 16.
yeah, crazy. Just right, just that ninth. Almost made top 8.
Almost first. Yeah.
It's actually not that far away from it.
Yeah, 8 spots away. But we have things like regular Tron showing up again. Is this green black or green red? It is green black, and then things like Titan Shift, Burn, Affinity, just get tempo.
Esper Mill.
Esper Mill, yeah.
How
How about Eternal Teamer?
It's just
yeah,
Eternal
but
Witness
Esper
deck.
Mill.
But Eternal Teamer.
I mean, sure.
I don't even know what's happening here.
What Esper Mill?
This is like
Eternal Teamer is the one where you
play
Vile, Script of Command, and Eternal Witness.
This
That's
is
why.
the deck that like Shota Yasuoka played in the Worlds like
There was
5 years ago.
Well, recently again too. Like it's been kind of a thing floating around.
This is that's a cool deck. It's like the cards I like to play: Snapcaster Mage and Cryptic Command, and Lightning Bolt.
Aether Vial?
All about it. No, I don't play Aether Vial.
All right.
No, it's a good card though.
But yeah, Esper Mill, definitely something that's pretty cool. Obviously, you get to mill out your opponent. Who doesn't like doing that?
It's playing Trapmaker Snare to go find your archive traps. And it has Ravenous Trap in the board,
Man.
so you can go search for other traps. As a trap deck, I don't care what it is.
So this is the Hunter deck, right? Because it's full of traps.
Yes.
This is you could do this in Modern. I don't know how you can't have fun.
I wouldn't recommend it, but
Well,
yeah, you can do it.
I don't think you like fun, Dave.
I don't like Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, okay, no, you got me.
So-
I'm
that
off
card
it.
isn't fun.
I'm off it. Ensnaring
Any
Bridge.
deck with Ensnaring Bridge, I don't like.
Ensnaring Bridge, no, thank you. And then so
Abzan Eldrazi?
there is an Abzan Eldrazi.
I don't know where Abzan comes into it.
It has a. I thought I saw it. Maybe not. I think it's just Black White Eldrazi.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why there's
where they got
green.
Abzan Eldrazi from.
But yeah, this is Black White Eldrazi.
It got me excited for a little bit there, but yeah. So this has been
you don't need green for this deck.
no.
That's
So
great.
this is like the lesser played version of Black White. Black
Yeah,
White
there's-
taxes.
Yeah,
Eldrazi,
there's no tax elements in this. It is a pretty much a creature deck playing focus on playing like Reality Smashers, Thought Knot Seers, stuff like that, and being able to like bounce them. But you're also like your other creatures are like Lingering Souls, which is really good.
Yeah, I will say. So I played this deck for a little bit, and this one that it's pretty. It's fell off pretty much. I mean, I haven't really seen it a whole lot, but I mean, it still can present some problems for certain decks. Like you have a lot of things like main deck for Relic of Progenitus, so any kind of graveyard deck that may have some issues with.
Hey, Storm, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, you have like discard elements, and then you have a variation of threats that are hard to deal with. So you have like Thought Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, but also Lingering Souls. So you get to kind of go both ways.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, a little surprising to see it show up, but I don't know. Maybe it'll make a comeback. We'll see.
I think it's still like it's still a viable deck. It still has like powerful things that it can do.
Yeah.
And once you build like if you're gonna build like Eldrazi Taxes, like you already get pretty close to having this deck anyway. In a lot of ways, some ways you're a little bit distant. You have to get like discard spells you normally wouldn't have to get. But
this is like a cheaper version of Eldrazi Taxes because you don't need
Aether Vials, which is nice. But once you have one, you're sliding into the other, so you can kind of flip flop between weekends if you feel one might be better positioned than the other. I know Lingering Souls varies like as far as like power from weekend to weekend typically. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I do want to mention a card that I've seen get a little bit more play. It's only a one of here on the board, but Kambal, Consul of Allocation.
Yeah, I'm gonna play him in my Taxes deck.
What's up, Storm?
Yeah, like with Storm, but also like I've seen like Death Shadow. It's pretty good against too. Like if you get them low and they don't have the removal spell for it, then it's like, well, how do I dig for the removal spell and not die? So
yeah, they could also. Like it being three cost, like it's possible.
Tough, yeah.
It's not like it's tough, but you can catch them. You can catch them
yeah.
without a fetch or whatever. Yeah,
but definitely Storm is obviously the main thing for it, and that's a sweet answer. It really is. But there's a couple of decks you could just like even like looking at the Jeskai decks where like this is a
like
fine
the blue
card
white
to just
deck
have like sometimes at the end of the day you're just hoping that you're just trading off for something. Like okay, well you used the removal spell and you took you lost 2 life, so just thought it was kind of cool. Legacy.
Yeah, I guess.
At least for a minute.
Okay.
Well, you guys talk about Legacy. I'm gonna blow my nose.
Well, Dredge won. I know that. Jack Kitchen. Throwing the sink at him, as Dave said.
I thought you were going to call him Jack the Sink Kitchen.
Jack the Sink Kitchen. Just playing
pull
like
out all the stops.
Playing for what?
What does Jack the Sink Kitchen actually mean?
It was a Chris Berman, like.
But would it just be Jack the Kitchen Sink?
Hey, anybody that knows, Chris Berman, like growing up and watching, Chris Berman highlights, he just made he made up like the dumbest nicknames for people. So that I wanted to come up.
But the nickname's already there. You're just putting it in the wrong order. That's like in the movie Jack, where they say "Run Home Jack" instead of "Home Run Jack." Like you just put the thing in the wrong order.
Would you call him the Sink Jack Kitchen?
No, you just call him Jack the Kitchen Sink.
But his last name is Kitchen.
I get that.
Who cares? Oh, whatever. I'm done. I'm blowing my nose.
All right.
People would probably rather listen to that than listen to us make up nicknames for Jack Kitchen.
But
anyway, yeah, he's playing a very streamlined list of Dredge, which was. It was surprising to me to see 0 Dread Returns in the main deck. Though he does have, a little bit of a package in the board for that. So, he's just going hard in game 1 when people don't have Graveyard Hate. So, except for that dang Deathrite Shaman, This could be too fast for it, though.
Yeah, no, I mean that's kind of the whole reason why this is still a viable deck that you can play and win a tournament with. I mean, obviously once it happens, it's definitely not a thing that you can like safely go to your next Legacy tournament and just crush it. But it's one of those decks that is hilariously cheap online too. Which I always find funny because when you look at it, it's like, oh, it's only 153 tickets on Magic Online, and it's like $700+ in paper, and you're like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. But it's a deck that is powerful, but if people are packing hate, you just can't, win the tournament. You're gonna like run into one too many people that are prepared for you. But if tides are low on Graveyard Hate, then you clearly have a shot, and that's kind of what Jack did, I think. Probably. I don't know.
Probably.
I defeated Miracles in the finals.
A deck that just will not die.
Yeah. So I was looking at this, and we've seen kind of these just blue white decks and Legacy since Top has been banned, and it's still kind of around. I haven't seen any playing Counterbalance. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, it does still happen. It does.
It seems odd.
I like the back to basics too. Like this is a deck that gets to run 10 basic lands, so why not?
It's good. 8.
8? That was
9.
9. Sorry, 9. Yeah. I'm sorry, the crack is mixing me up here. But yeah, like that's pretty spicy. If back to basics is an old enchantment back from Urza Saga that says non-basic lands not untapped during their controller's untap phases. So you can kind of get people with it.
Yeah. We think about we saw third place Brian Koval, the last Star City Invitational winner. with Grixis Delver. What do you think of this 5th place Eldrazi in taxes? Well, Legacy Eldrazi in taxes.
Yeah, I mean, all of it, every single one. But yeah, this is kind of the typical flavor of Death and Taxes, I think, at this point in time.
Smuggler's Copter.
Maybe not. Maybe this is a little kind of Eldrazi Stompy plus taxes.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Eldrazi Stompy was pretty
this-
popular in the actual Open.
Oh,
too,
yeah, in the
so.
Open, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a blend. I mean, it's not Death and Taxes, and it's not just colorless Eldrazi.
Right.
So, interesting.
I dig it. I like Spaghetti Monsters and Thalia, even though they don't necessarily like each other.
Not so much.
No,
No,
they're actually pretty distinct enemies, as if we've come to find. But they work well in concert.
It's like
so
when the
I don't know.
Ghostbusters teamed up with Slimer. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like they're like you're okay.
yeah. Because then Slimer drove that bus, so Rick Moranis could get to the museum to get the Jello mold off the museum.
Ghostbusters is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you.
It's weird. It's a weird part.
You remember that time that the Statue of Liberty walked,
Yeah.
so it somehow got into a harbor and it got out of it too, like somehow, and it was able to smash a window in.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then the thing left a painting.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember when the painting came alive?
It tried to eat a baby.
Yeah, I remember all of these things.
Remember that? That was
Okay, maybe it's just Ghostbusters 2 that's weird.
Ghostbusters 1 had some weird stuff. Do you remember that time when a ghost tried to give Dan Aykroyd? Never mind.
Yeah.
That was the scene they don't show on TV.
I guess both of them were weird then, weren't they? All right. Anything else about Legacy that we want to talk about?
I just want to make a ghost busted joke so bad.
Sorry. People are just gonna have to put it together themselves.
Something about
Oddly enough, if you're familiar with the scene that we're talking about, so I watched that movie with my daughter when she was like 5. And I was like, oh, I forgot about this. Never mind.
Oops. Well,
Daddy, what's that ghost doing? Nothing.
nothing.
Just helping him.
You got it? No,
Yeah,
no,
we're
we're
doing
done.
some things.
He
Yeah.
wore his jeans to bed. And
Yeah. It's just,
Wow.
just helping him out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put his pajamas on. Oh man.
Just the worst. All right. Anything else from the Legacy Classic?
No.
Legacy is Legacy. Band Death Red Shaman. So, before we jump into the end of the show and to our things we're thankful for, we do want to give a shout out to, of course, BCW Supplies. If you're looking to do some Christmas shopping, check out their website, bcwsupplies.com, and buy some lovely sleeves, deck boxes, what have you, for the Magic player in your life. bcwsupplies.com. Check them out.
That was really nice.
That was right off the top.
Yeah, that was real nice.
Tell them at your Ed Step sent you. All right, so
Get a free high five.
yeah,
And then you can gain a life.
yeah, you get a life. And if you have the
Or
other
not.
one, we won't give you a life.
or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want. Anyway, so obviously, we already started off the top of the show saying it was Thanksgiving week, and we wanted to do as tradition, talk about what we're thankful for in Magic. And who wants to start? Who has something that right off the top they're grateful for that's Magic related this year?
I'll go, I guess. Since
Okay.
Nobody else is. There's a lot of things I'm thankful for in Magic. I think like locally, having a store like Comic Town, which they have their championship series. They always.
yeah,
I'm
Dave,
just saying, like they
already they already got their ad break, man.
No, I'm saying no, but I'm thankful that we have a store that we can go to, play on pretty much a weekly basis, and I think that's important.
No, it is. They're great. I also enjoy Comic Town. I'm sorry. No, Dave, that's a good thing to be thankful for.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
harassing you.
Yeah, of course. We're your friends. Of course, we're going to harass you. No, it's good to have like a healthy local community. I think that we do. We have, a lot of people that are interested in playing the game at all varying levels, and I think that's a good thing to be thankful for. And Comic Town is a large part of that.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for standard rotation.
That's a good thing to be thankful for.
It was time for Zendikar block to go. I'm sorry that Shadows never got a chance to shine. Still
Nope.
sorry for it.
Nope.
But it was time to
Its
go.
name was very, very fitting because
Yes.
it always lived in the shadows.
But it was time to go. You know what card I don't miss?
Allies Zendikar?
Getting Allies Zendikar.
Yeah, no one misses that card.
Ulamog.
Or Ulamog.
Ulamog,
don't
yeah.
miss them. Now, they both see play from time to time. Love a format called Modern. That's great. That's where they deserve to be.
Yeah, they're good cards in
So,
Modern.
I am thankful this year for rotation.
And in similar vein to Mike, I am overall looking back upon the year, I'm thankful for standard bannings. I think that when we take a look, that the things that changed were good for the format. Now I have one gripe, that you can't delay a banning because that's rude to people. And makes them spend money in inappropriate ways that makes them look foolish. Now, as it turns out, the core that the cards that I purchased for the the Saheeli fill out our Guardian deck did turn into Teamer Energy. So hats off to you, Wizards, for still making a very parasitic mechanic that's good no matter what.
It's good to the last drop.
But if you're gonna ban things, make sure you do it on the day you're supposed to announce bannings, and don't wait for an arbitrary amount of days later. It's very rude. But overall, I do think that the bannings were good for the format that we were in. Contextually speaking, obviously rotation, was better. I guess. Yeah, sure. But I think they made good decisions on the cards that they did decide to remove from the format, even though it was difficult, I think, as a company, as a team, to make those kind of calls.
Off of that, I'm also thankful that Wizards is a company that cares about their customers.
Hey, Wizards didn't get an ad break. It's fine.
No, I mean, obviously, they recognize, Standard is not where they wanted it to be. It's been a rough year for Standard overall, but they have taken steps to rectify that. They have now, a specific playtest group. And I don't think we talked about this, but they had some new people that they just brought on. So, Tom Ross, Dan Musser.
Yeah, congrats, bud.
So pretty cool. I mean, they'll definitely be missed. Mostly on the SEG scene, but
Dan locally.
Yeah,
someone locally.
Yeah. But I don't,
a humble little guy from Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls, making it a big city of Seattle.
But I'm glad that Wizards they're putting in efforts to make Standard better, and I'm kind of excited to see. Obviously, it's going to take a little while for this to come to head, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah,
in
I
the
agree.
coming years.
I think. I guess I'll do one more since we're circling around.
Yeah,
but,
let's keep going.
I'm also thankful for the I don't know. I want to say like in Robin Hood, you had the evil king, and then eventually the good king comes back.
Wasn't it the sheriff?
Well,
He's a prince, technically.
Prince, technically, yeah, and then was his brother, right? So I guess they're both princes, whatever. But he was sitting on the throne.
Were they two princes?
Yeah, two princes. Do. But so Standard was on this throne for a long time, and the people were telling us that Modern was the real champ,
the real format.
But the elites, the aristocrats, if you will, said no, we look down upon Modern as a format. The people rose up this year. And put Standard's head in a basket.
The means of production.
They put a Standard's head in a basket. And,
okay.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Like Robin Hood and the French Revolution.
Yeah,
I think I'm also making a Hamilton reference. Like either way, Modern is now it's the people's format. People we've been saying it for a long time, but now WotC's recognized it and brought it back to the Pro Tour. Star City recognized it and changed all these things. I'm just saying, it feels good to get
I'm
that
still not
recognition.
sure how I feel about the Modern being back on the Pro Tour. I'm not actually excited about that, but it's fine.
I'm technically going to be on there twice, but I don't know. It's nice to be yeah, it's your turn, bud.
Butts
Time
and
to
seats.
shine. So, do we want to say anything you're thankful for outside of Magic, so we don't sound totally awful?
I was going to say I was thankful for our listeners and all our fans, because you guys mean the world to us. I don't care. They deserve it. They deserve every piece of thanks that they get. But we obviously having sponsors is nice, and they make doing the podcast a bit easier as far as hosting is concerned. And we of course now have a Patreon, so now our fans get to help out with that as well. And we super appreciate you guys for being out there and listening and interacting with you guys, you folks on Twitter. It really really does like mean a lot to us.
I don't know why we have an ongoing theme of making people tell us that they've almost wrecked their car laughing.
It seems
and I'm
that-
glad that we're very funny. Drive better.
Yeah, just do better about driving. Like, we can't. I don't know. I'm going to make this statement: no liability for any of that. Like that's
at
on
least-
you. You have insurance. Like you deal with it. You have to fill out that paperwork. It said you would laugh so hard at the podcast.
At least, yeah.
Crash your car.
What
But
were you
please
doing?
be safe.
I was guffawing loudly.
Please be safe out there on the roads. It's winter season's coming
Yeah,
up.
if
and
you feel like something funny's coming up,
Just pause.
pull off to the side of the road.
Just pause.
Oh no!
pull off to the side of the road.
Have a good laugh.
and then no. To be honest, we're not that funny. I don't know. Like I don't know
for
why.
yourself.
Okay, I'm not that
Oh,
funny.
I'm not that funny.
So I said, speak for yourself.
So Mike's the funny guy.
Yeah. Really? So it's all Mike's fault.
Yeah.
Wait a
Good
second.
job,
I
Mike.
like how that turned.
Yeah, it's rough, huh? Got to live with that in your conscience. Anyway, but yeah, I do want to like every year I will always continue to thank our listeners and our fans who day in and day out, week after week, I should say, is more the correct term. Week after week, come back and listen to us literally scream into the void that is the internet about a card game designed for children. So thank you.
Have you seen some of the things on Unstable? I don't know if it's designed for children anymore.
Okay, at least teenagers.
All right,
Ghostbusters was not designed for children.
No, they had not figured out the PG rating or PG-13 rating.
they hadn't yet done that
Go,
yet.
you go watch the late '80s. The things that were PG. Go watch the Goonies again. Tell me that's a
Yeah,
Yeah, anything
oh,
from the 80s that is rated PG, just watch it because you're like, this should have been rated R.
hard R.
But yeah, movies were crazy back then.
I'm gonna say I'm thankful for my wife and family. I played the least amount of competitive Magic in a year that I have in like the last 4 or 5 years this year. Just focused more on school and other things like that. And early in the year was kind of tumultuous for some of the family. And she's pretty supportive of me going and playing this children's card game when I need to, or even when I don't need to. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, similar to that. I'm thankful for my family as well. We had a new addition this year, so
I
guess
Did
it
you
was
add on to your house.
Technically, it was about a year ago. But yeah, we had an add-on.
Yeah, we got a second
Add on
dog.
to the house.
No.
But it's going. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say my wife is
Your
completely
family?
supportive. She allows me to do things. No, I probably get to play more than a lot of people do in my position, so I can't.
That's
really
true.
complain.
That's true. I will give you that.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize, Chris.
She's not listening to this.
I
Don't worry
haven't issued an apology, but I'm going to issue an apology.
It's been a while. It's certainly been a while. I of course will. I'm definitely thankful for my lovely wife. I'll talk really loud so she
Posers.
so you can hear me
I said
because we're
first.
recording at my house right now.
Simpsons did it.
I was gonna say we're at my house. Why are you saying that?
No, she allows me to definitely pursue this passion and hobby in a multitude of ways, and is always supportive for it, even though I'm sure she does not care about it at all, and that's fine. That is completely okay. But she cares about it in a way because I care about it.
She
and
cares
that's-
about you.
Yeah, exactly. And what more can you really ask for as a person? To have someone in your life that just cares about dumb stuff because you do. But yeah, like it was like my first year of being married, and I know you guys are sort of like been that way for a bit longer.
Over a decade, yeah.
Over a decade. Mike, you're what, closing on what, 5 years?
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
So you guys got some time on me, but I don't know. I don't know how marriage is supposed to be, and obviously, I imagine years go by, and you may have your lean years and what have you. But it's never been easier being married to my wife. So I don't know how people have trouble with it. Now I've just cursed myself. Why'd I do that?
Just wait, man. Just wait.
That sounds awful, Dave. No, I love my wife.
Hey,
and
I think anybody who's been married for as long as I have can probably tell you that. But
then
it's okay. Hey, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, man.
We went to a dark
It's
place.
fine.
No, obviously not, because life's not all sunshine.
I'm not saying
and
that.
rainbows.
Well, my life is horrible or anything. I'm just saying, it's just not. It's fine.
But in Stranger Things, it was something that this might be spoilers for season 2 of Stranger Things.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet.
Dave. But there's a really good analogy.
All right, I'll go. La, 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 la.
Basically. So if you haven't seen the last episode of Stranger Things, I mean, I'm not going to tell you like what happens other than like
Okay.
you will know two people that continue to live at the end of Stranger Things. How about that?
Sure.
All right. So Mike and Eleven both end up living at the end of
Okay.
Stranger Things.
Cool.
Shocker, right? Two of the main cast. Crazy.
Gotcha.
It's
not Game
I
of
guess
Thrones
spoilers
here.
for the
It's like-
beginning of Stranger Things if you didn't realize Eleven was still alive. I don't know. She was eating Egos.
They hinted at it.
Yeah. But they're at a winter dance, and they both want to go out to the dance floor and dance, and they both don't know how. But then Mike says that they'll figure it out, and I figure that's kind of what marriage is like. I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out together. So I thought it was a pretty analogy.
It's kind of like that with having kids too.
Oh yeah,
You don't really know what you're
I
doing.
completely imagine that is true.
You're never really ready for it either. You're
Yeah, like
I'm
you
not
could read,
ready.
you
It's
could read
well, you're never
like
gonna be
a
ready.
billion books about
Yeah.
child rearing, and you'd be like, well, they didn't tell me about any of this part. So
I mean, I've met Dave's oldest, and he wasn't there for most of, from what I understand, and she's pretty great.
so rude. Why are we dragging?
Wow, I know. Seriously,
Why
you
are we dragging Dave?
You're making me out to just be like this horrible.
Dave's not a
husband and dad.
monster.
This is the characterization. This is the parody of your,
Yeah,
of your
this is
parody.
yeah, it's just a prank. Don't worry about it.
Dave, you
Dave.
understand how
I
satire-
just don't want Dave to come back and be like, "Listen, I know I was on this podcast, but I think they're slandering me right now."
Yeah.
No.
Don't worry. I will testify for you if they ever play this audio
Yeah.
in a courtroom for
See?
some reason.
Burn the tapes. Burn the tape, Morgan.
The tape. We're not recording on anything analog.
Yeah.
The tape.
I want you to understand-
Delete the file. I understand. Delete the file doesn't have as much power.
Well, once it's on the internet, it's just out there forever. You
Yeah,
can't-
forever.
You can't take it down.
Nope. That's true. It's always evidence. That's
man.
weird. Obviously, clearly by this conversation, I'm thankful for good friends. I think
nice.
that's the most thing that anyone could be thankful for at times, because you need people to keep you in check so you don't become a megalomaniac.
I'm thankful that I'm at least currently out of Dave's reach.
Anyway, there are plenty of things that you can be thankful for, and I hope that if you are celebrating Thanksgiving, that you have a few things in your life that bring a smile to your face and that you can be happy about for the year. But yeah, moving on to what's happening over this weekend. Just GP Leon. What?
No, just one thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just one thing. What?
GP Leon. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. It's team limited though.
A
So-
lot of mashed potatoes.
A lot of mashed potato, a lot of turkey, or ham. If ham's your thing, ham's not really my thing. As far as I like deli ham, but I don't like just like hunks of ham, like
I agree with that.
I
chunks.
agree
Like
as well.
no,
So my
Turkey,
so
though.
we
Thumbs
always
up.
have 2 Thanksgiving days. I know this is common for most people.
yeah. I had one. My younger brother-in-law went to the Air Force, so we had our Catherine's side of the family's Thanksgiving on Saturday.
So we always do my grandmother's a Saturday after with my immediate family, and she would always do like a ham. And about 5-6 years ago, we all like implored her. We're like, you know what, we don't want more ham. Can we do something else? And we now have Ballsgiving, which is
meatballs.
She makes homemade meatballs.
Yeah.
Oh, we call it
It's
that.
like,
I want you to understand.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. We got a bunch of meatballs. That I would say
No,
I wished for. That's what I got. So
Before you explain what it was, that's what I was just saying.
no, it's fair. But like she makes like homemade meatballs. I'm actually my brother and I are gonna help her on Friday make some of the meatballs.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
it's always great.
Were you really wishing for the Ballsgiving? Were you really wishing for like meatballs? Or you're like, oh please, no more ham. Can you just be
Is that like LeVar Ball shows up at your door?
meatballs?
I don't. You don't know what my mind's like.
I don't.
Yeah, I kind of was.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You have like one of those Kanye West dark twisted like
Like
fantasy
quite literally,
minds.
It was like it's like okay, so you could literally have anything right now, like world peace, meatballs.
meatballs.
It was
please.
like yeah, meatballs. Yeah.
I think someone from my family is actually bringing meatballs to our Thanksgiving,
There
so
you go.
I will also have a Ballsgiving this week. This
Cool.
Thanksgiving.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that delightful film starring Bill Murray.
See, sometimes you make references, and
It's a movie called Meatballs.
what?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Man, why? Why do you know that?
I think it's called Meatballs. Maybe I'm crazy. No, Meatballs, 1979.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Berenstein Bears, Berenstein
Directed
Bears.
by Ivan Reitman, who also directed Ghostbusters.
Okay, we found the link. We did it. All right.
our board is complete.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we hit the bingo.
Yeah,
Just like Star City
There
coverage.
it is. There it is.
But yeah, I think it's time to put an end to this rambly, nearly 2-hour long episode of At Your End Step.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, so like here's the debate. There's not a lot obviously going on next week, so we might not have a show.
Or we might
we can
have
split this one.
Stop it.
Stable-palooza.
Stop it! And we're not splitting this one. We're getting the people what they want. They have travel plans for Thanksgiving. They got to go places. They need us. They need our voices.
Yeah, that's
clearly.
totally why we made this one 2 hours.
Exactly.
Unintentionally.
No, it's just 'cause
But intentionally.
we just like talking. We just like hearing our own voices. So I'm wearing headphones, so I get to hear my own voices twice, pretty much. But yeah, that's the only thing that's going on is GP Leon. But yeah, let's end the show. Of course, you can always find us on various platforms, iTunes, MTG Cast. If you're listening to us on iTunes, we do appreciate a good rate and review. That helps out with our visibility on the platform and allows people to find the show and us to gain more listeners. And of course, if there is anything that we need to change, we do look at that as Dave's just rubbing up against the microphone. And we do look at that as feedback, so we can change for the better and become a better show for everyone. And of course, if you are downloading us via MTG Cast, you can check out some of the other shows that are on that platform. Magic shows that run the gamut can be about most any and every topic, and some of them might even be better than ours. But we're not going to tell you that.
It's fake news.
It's fake news. Well, we also have, of course, a Twitter account. It's just Your End Step, and when you add us, it's at Your End Step. Or we do have an email address at yourenstep@gmail.com. Or Facebook. We do a quick search for us on Facebook for At Your End Step. Of course, while you're on there, you can also do a search for our sponsors, which is Comic Town Gaming Center and BCW Supplies. So give them a like, and you can definitely check out some events Comic Town is having and some products that BCW is advertising. That's going to be it for us this week. We'll catch you next week. Maybe. We'll see. And you have a great one. Bye.